A human life is such a precious gift, one in which we get to experience infinite possibilities. I remember now a story told to me by Malidoma Somé in which he suggested that I was not here by accident. We are not here by accident, that we each actually lobbied to be here. Wanting, oh, we want a human life. We're excited to be here. And so we entered into a field of exploration, of research, remembering that which was gone before, here to grow the information and energy inside of this field. And it's something that we look forward to. It's one of the stories that have really left an impression on me, to imagine that I actually wanted to be here and that this was a gift and something that I am excited to explore. So, yeah, I'm sitting with that thought today and imagining that each of us are a fresh starting point, unrepeatable. We are not going to be duplicated ever. We're a fresh starting point of the infinite possibilities of life. And so we journey here, and our work is one of practice, to be in practice, the practice of remembering, in the practice of experiencing, in the practice of creating, of making things, in the practice of relating to each other across differences and similarities, in the process of caring for the body of the world and our own physical bodies. So these are the ways in which we practice. The point of this speaking is a reflection on the practice. It is of the human life, because we hear a lot about practice in the environment, and sometimes practices have been divided. They remove yoga, the physical aspects of yoga, from the self-inquiry aspects, and then it's all chopped up and commercialized. So it's like, what exactly is the practice of the human journey, given that we are each here exploring the infinite possibility that we each uniquely are, individually and in relation to each other. So the first practice, I want to say that there are five, and I'm looking at them through the lens of the five elements of creation, using the Dagara understanding of each element as a lens. So the practices, I would say, first is mineral practice, which is reflection. It's a reflective practice of self-inquiry in which one remembers and creates narrative about who one is. So where one sits in questions: who am I? Why do I exist? When do I come alive? What am I here to offer? What can I offer? Where am I arriving to now? And these are questions that one can ask in an open ended way. But to sit inside of these questions is a practice. The second practice is the practice of nature. And this I think of as a still slash moving practice. It's a practice of a moving. And we only realize movement when we are sitting still, that even in the stillness, we realize that we are moving internally. And so we move as a response to that. So meditative practice, practice, embodied practice, what they call somatic practice, it's all one thing. It's the practice of moving in nature, being still on the one hand, moving on the next hand. The fire practice, the third practice, is the practice of making something, whether on a job or in an enterprise, as an artist, as a creative leader inside of your industry, inside of an institution. We're always creating something. We are creative beings. And so there's something of a practice in there. That fire practice is the practice of making. And then the fourth practice is a water practice, and this is a practice of a relationship. So it's a relationship practice, and here we're practicing the giving and receiving of energy and exchange with others. You know, it's a currency of water that give that ebb and flow of life, negotiating emotions, sometimes with turbulence, through conflict, sometimes peacefully. But that's a practice that takes place in the institution of life. And then finally, there are earth practices. I think of these as caregiving practices where we are caring for our bodies and the body of the world, being careful about what we take into our bodies and how we care for the physical environment. And so I offer this elemental breakdown for us to look at: where are you practicing today? Each of us are developing a unique practice. There's nobody that can say that you should be practicing this and you should be practicing that. So the offering is today of a menu, so to speak, of practices that one can pull on: a reflective practice, a still/moving practice, a creative practice, a relationship practice, and a caregiving practice for one's body and the body of the world. So I go back to the top. A human life is a gift to experience the infinite possibilities that we each are. These possibilities are the source of new life. You are a new starting point, an unrepeatable creation of life's possibilities. Here we're imagining life as an institution for research, for archiving, for remembering, for growing information that is energy and that is in a constant state of change and evolution. So we journey here as explorers to understand and discover and experience and co-create the possibility of who we each are, of who you are, and how you coexist and create in the world with other beings who also lobbied to be here. This is today's thought. I hope it lands well with you. Tell me if this helps. Peace now and richest blessings. Indeed, this is our time to bloom.